Joe Burrow at full strength gives the Bengals a full $2. This is ESPN NFL Live. Look, I'm going to tell you this right now. I think the Bengals are going to go to the Super Bowl. They're my pick. They are. I was thinking about this all week. I am going to get a Super Bowl ticket on the Cincinnati Bengals. Last I checked, it was like 14-1 or 17-1 or something like that. Shop around. The Bengals are the team that I think right now is the most consistent and has what you want in a Super Bowl team. The AFC is loaded, right? The AFC is really good, top down. The NFC is top heavy with right now Detroit, Philadelphia, and San Francisco. If you look at the AFC, you have the Chiefs, the Bengals, the Ravens, the Bills, the Dolphins, a lot of teams, right? But think about those teams. Think about the Chiefs, offensively struggling right now, big time. The Dolphins, defensively struggling, and they haven't beat a good team in like a year and a half. The Bills, struggling everywhere, especially on offense, right? They have not been the same old Bills. The Ravens look good, but who do you trust more between the Bengals and the Ravens? The Bengals have proven they can win big games, they can advance in the playoffs, they can get to the Super Bowl. They've done that. The Ravens have not. That's not even factoring in Joe Burrow. Right now, I think it's safe to say that Joe Burrow is currently the best quarterback in the NFL. I think you can make that claim. The way he's playing right now, he's healthy. You can see it here. How he's playing at such a high level. If you have the best quarterback in the NFL, if you have the weapons he has with Jamar Chase and all those receivers, Joe Mixon, and the defense is playing out of control under DC Lou Anarumo. Is that his name, right? I believe so. Someone double check me. Hendrickson, the pass rush, just everything they have right now. I think this is the team. This is the year where the Bengals have it all. And because of their slow start, because of when Burrow was hurt, you're getting them at a tremendous value. A tremendous value. They're, 4-3 right now? Is that right? I think they're 4-3. So you're getting, if they win this week, they're 5-3. And I think they just continue to win. And they keep, and you got to remember too, even though they had that kind of slow stretch at the beginning, Burrow found a way. It shows how good he is. I mean, it really does show how good Joe Burrow is. I think this is the year. I'm telling y'all because I want you to take advantage of this betting opportunity and the value opportunity to get on the Bengals. I think you can trust them to they may not win the division, and that might be the hard part. The hard part is because of their slow start, Baltimore has the fast track to win the division. So the Bengals are at a bit of a disadvantage there, but they've proven that they can win tough games in the playoffs. So I love what the Bengals have right now.
All right, so big game in Cincinnati. The Bills visit the Bengals Sunday. After a very rough start to the season where the Bengals went 1-3, Joe Burrow has been fantastic. He ranks in the top 6 in completion percentage, total QBR, touchdown to interception ratio since week 5. The Bengals 3-0 since he got hot. It's been fun to watch. We all kind of felt this way once the calf got a little bit healthier. Feels like it is. He says he's 100%. How does Burrow's mobility change this Bengals offense?
We just watched it. We watched the last game when he had the sneak. It was a third down, design run up the middle. He wasn't doing that before. And also something else. He was not taking snaps under center the first couple of games because they did not want him dropping back. They did not want him in a drop back. So think about how shallow that playbook was. They couldn't call any running plays for Joe Burrow, like the design runs we've seen before. And they weren't even calling plays under center in the NFL. That's bananas. It opens up so much more of their playbook. And Cincinnati has been a team that does get better moving forward. Like in the season, we saw them have a slow start last year. Think about this. So we're talking about them being 17-1, whatever. They just rolled San Francisco. If they smoke the Bills on Sunday Night Football, how can you not say this team is the class of the AFC right now? How can you not say this team is probably the best team in the NFC, maybe the best or the AFC, maybe the best team in the NFL right now? If they just smoked San Francisco, who people assume is the best team in the NFC, even though they were hurt, I'll give you that. And then they beat the Bills, a Super Bowl contender, and they're probably not even at full strength. They're probably not even at their highest level.
It gives them a full toolbox, right? Joe Burrow is special in so many facets of the game, but when he's hurt, they had to change the offense to get him in the shotgun, getting the ball out of his hands quick.
Show the third and 9 design run.
26% under center, 8% in the previous 7 games. A lot more play action. He's getting outside the pocket. If there's nothing downfield, he's taking off running. And the thing that I love most about what Joe Burrow did last week, when you watch him in the pocket and that thing is collapsing, I'm talking about poised is an understatement. If you took off every other person on the field, you wouldn't even realize that there were people chasing him. And that kind of pocket presence is what the very, very special quarterbacks have. And when he was hurt, he was getting rid of it a lot quicker. And that's a scary Joe Burrow.
Something else about quarterbacks. The NFL is a quarterback-driven league. When you're betting on a team, you're betting on that quarterback. How many quarterbacks would you rather have in a playoff game than Joe Burrow? Answer me that. That's why I think back in the Bengals is such a safe bet. Is because you're getting Joe Burrow in the biggest spots when seemingly he's the best. And besides Patrick Mahomes, in the AFC, if it's a 2-minute drive, I think Joe Burrow is the guy I want. Joe Burrow is the guy I want leading that 2-minute drive. Besides Mahomes. Mahomes would be number 1, for sure. But the Bengals offense is better than the Chiefs. I think if you take the Chiefs out because they're struggling on offense, they're more of a defensive-oriented team, it opens the door. It opens the door for Cincinnati. I like Jacksonville. I think Jacksonville's good, but who would you rather have in a 2-minute drive to go to the Super Bowl or win the Super Bowl? Would you rather have Trevor Lawrence or Joe Burrow?
To your point, Hawk, that confidence built for him too, man. Like, we know Joe to be that way. I'm really focused on when you think about the Buffalo Bills and all of that has happened with their injuries, and I know they signed Rasul Douglas. Where is Von? Like, what's going on with Von Miller? These are the games that he's in Buffalo for, y'all. So this defensive line as a whole, I think, is the unit that's going to have to take care of the rest of this defense as you go throughout this game. We know Joe is going to sit back. We know he's going to try to find Chase. We know he's going to try to find Boyd, T. Higgins. This defensive line for Buffalo is who we saw dominate Miami when they were playing against that Miami team that was coming off of a 70-point win. But I also want to...
But Miami also hasn't beat a team with a winning record in, what is it? I think it was week 3 of last season. So that's Miami's big hiccup, is we're not sure if Miami is a team that beats good teams. We're not sure about that yet. You know, like the AFC team, when you really look at the landscape at the AFC, a lot of question marks. There's question marks everywhere. Is there a question with the Bengals? I guess the only question mark would be the fact that they probably, or right now, I mean, you never know how it works out, but right now they're not going to win the division. Or they're not in line to win the division, however you want to say it. So is that a problem? But if that's the only problem, I'll take my chances with that.
To see if Von Miller is going to get more percentage of these snaps. And between Ed Oliver, Epineza, Greg Rousseau, and obviously Von Miller, that's the unit that is going to have to win this game if Buffalo is going to have a chance.
Yeah, Von, coming off the injury, I think it's important to note we did show the percentage of snaps in the games. It's kind of slightly risen every single week, but you wonder if he's still kind of fighting that injury. Go ahead.
To your point, I think Joe's, though, kind of one of the examples of there's 2 different kind of quarterbacks when it comes to their legs. It's the escapers and it's the creators. Joe's an escaper, can constantly get himself out of bad stuff, and I think we finally saw that this season.
I don't know what the hell Dan was just talking about there, but Joe Burrow is sneaky athletic. Patrick Mahomes is too. I'll say that. They're both kind of the same. They're sneaky athletic. Joe, the designed run on 3rd down last week was impressive. And we've seen Joe shake defenders out of their shoes. We've seen Mahomes do that. You know, they don't get enough credit for being good mobile quarterbacks because they're so good in the pocket. But Joe is deceptively good on the ground. He's not going to be doing read options and stuff that we see, you know, Lamar Jackson do. But he is certainly capable on the ground.
For this game, I want to see how each defense handles the other team's 11 personnel, one back, one tight end. These are two of the better teams, certainly quarterback-wise, when it comes to that 11 personnel operation. We finally got to see last week with Cincinnati what we've seen for the last 2 or 3 years with it. And because of the Dawson Knox injury in Buffalo, they majored in it last Thursday night, and I expect them to again this week. And I think the two interesting parts for me is Cincinnati defensively does such a great job with Lou Anarumo, their defensive coordinator, of like being game plan specific. I would expect a game plan that matches what they did against Kansas City.
Another thing that impresses me with Anarumo is they adjust so well. Like, Cincinnati is one of the best second half defensive teams in the NFL because of how good they are at adjusting on the fly. And that's just so underrated for a coordinator. It's one thing to come in there with a game plan and you know, being able to scheme up stopping your opponent, but to see what they're doing in the first half and then make a change in 15 minutes at halftime is just such a skill. You know, it's so, watching their defense and watching him is, it's really fun to watch. Like, the Bengals have really kind of become that team where their defense is just as fun to watch as their offense.
2 years ago in the AFC title game, you'll see 3-man rush, 8 guys dropping. We will see 2-man rush, 9 guys dropping. Force Josh patience. And I think for Buffalo defensively, do they go with those 3 safeties again? Will they put 5 guys at the line of scrimmage to try to slow down a little bit of an undervalued run game in Cincinnati with Mixon?
Man, pass rush for Buffalo is so important this season. It applies to a lot of teams, but when the Bills get 10 or more quarterback pressures this year, they're 4-1. When they have fewer, they're 1-2. Significant.
It's every team. Every team in the NFL, defensively, that's what you want to do. You know, you want, 10 years ago, you wanted to stop the run. Now you want to be able to rush the passer. You want to cause pressure. You want to wreak havoc. You want to get after the quarterback. That's what you want to do as a defense. This game is interesting because if the Bengals win, I think that value of the Super Bowl, you know, is over. I think you're going to see the Bengals shoot up the odds board. If they lose, then we could be in a tremendous value spot because then they're 4-4. You know, like you're 4-4. A lot of question marks. You just lost to one of your AFC rivals. You know, so I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to get a ticket before the game on the Bengals, but we'll be paying attention to this Sunday night game big time, because if the Bengals look great, I'm feeling good about the ticket, feeling even better. If they lose, we may have to add more. You know, we may have to add more because the Bengals are one of those teams that they just get in the playoffs and they are immediately a contender. Let me know in the comments below, ladies and gentlemen, what do you think? Do you think the Bengals are the class of the AFC right now? Or do you think they're kind of a hidden giant, you know, a sleeping giant, if you will? Or do you think I'm overrating the Bengals? Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video.